My name is Verna Bryant. I'm 75 years old, and I'm the mother of Naomi Bryant, who was murdered in 2005. Naomi was very flamboyant, very full of life, loved people, loved a good conversation, loved a good argument. Oh, she just loved life. Naomi had one daughter who was 14 years old when Naomi died. My daughter was murdered by a man called Anthony Rice, who it turned out to be was a well-known sex offender and had been released from jail when he shouldn't have been. Naomi was 40 years old. They struck up conversation in a public house and they went to another pub, and the next day he was on a bench near her house, and so they decided to go for a drink, and then she went home because she was expecting her daughter to come home, and he obviously followed her. The door bell rang. She opened the door thinking it was her daughter coming back with her father, and it turned out to be Anthony Rice, who then pushed his way in and picked up a knife, and it carried on from there. He murdered her. I didn't actually find out about it until the next day. The police came round. I'd been at the dentist previous, and I'd had phone calls from my granddaughter and from somebody else saying what's going on, and I didn't know. They were all crying, all panicking. Then the police turned up and told me that they said your daughter has been killed. I thought she'd been killed, been run over or something. It turned out they said, well, actually, she's been murdered. Anthony Rice was quickly caught and admitted the murder and was given a life sentence. I did want an inquest because, having found out that he was already a sexual offender and a dangerous man, I wondered why he was released from jail and just allowed out free to do it all over again. They said there was no need for an inquest because he'd already admitted it, and so he was in jail already, and so they thought that was, as far as they were concerned, that was it. So I had a lot of unanswered questions about Naomi's death. I spoke to Liberty and we had a long chat, and they advised me that through the Human Rights Act I could get some answers into Naomi's death. Article 2 of the Human Rights Act, which is the right to life, required an inquest into my daughter's death. The inquest uncovered a great many failings because at the inquest they interviewed the police, the parole, prison service, the hostel, and probably many more. I was very shocked to discover that he had previous convictions against children and women, and even the authorities were not aware of this fact. Well, even the hostel that he went into admitted their failings because they didn't have CCTV cameras at night. They didn't check that their inmates were in their rooms when they should have been, and they were aware of Anthony Rice's behaviour problems, which were getting worse, and they didn't do anything about it. The jury found that all these failings that the department had made contributed to my daughter Naomi's death. It was, in fact, the Human Rights Act that allowed the inquest to take place and uncovered all the failures from all the departments. I think human rights, given the right direction, are very important. I think that the government agencies blame the Human Rights Act because it's much easier for them to it covers up all their misdemeanours, all they use as a scapegoat. It covers up all their own mistakes. I really hope that after the inquest that some good would come out of it, and this was only made possible for me and for anybody else because of the Human Rights Act.
Stories like this one could end so differently if we let the government scrap our Human Rights Act. Don't let them get away with it. Go to saveourhra.org.uk. Take action now.